Hello. I've arrived. Artist, archivist, future man, and tonight. That was an unusually powerful attack on the tonight. Anyway. Tonight, Alchemist. You can call me Tiberius Vanderfield. Hello. So yes. So, tonight, once again, we will be continuing Atelier Yumia. Not a whole lot to be said on that note. I don't have too specific of plans going into it, but I do hope to get a little bit closer to our pioneering goals. But yes. So, yeah, again, we don't need to complete too much of the pioneering effort in order to get our next assignment, I don't think. But I do intend to do a little bit more than is strictly necessary. There's a lot of potential rewards I'm interested in. Yeah, so, beyond that, let's see. Oh, yes, so, business, of course. Yes, so once again, tonight is Atelier Yumia. Tomorrow, you should be seeing some more Arc Nights. Yes, Thursday, you should be seeing some more Atelier Yumia. And then Friday, Guilty Gear, and Saturday, Arc Nights once again. Yes, so, all of the streams, except for the Thursday and Friday streams, you can expect to be around 8:30 p.m. Central Time. And then the Thursday and Friday streams, you can expect to be around 9:30 p.m. Central Time. Possibly closer to 9. We shall see. I always try, but I don't always succeed. But yes, anyway, so. But yeah, the schedule's been a little bit inconsistent, or at least my attendance has been a little bit inconsistent these past 2 weeks. But yeah. So basically, I just sort of... Yeah, a lot of it is just that I had a stretch of time where I was sleeping pretty poorly, and I didn't really catch up on it. And every now and then I would still have a night where I wasn't sleeping very well. Yeah, nothing serious, I just was up too late playing games, basically. But yes, anyway. So, having established that, yes, having admitted to my misdeeds, but yeah, so I've definitely made an effort to not do that. I've made an effort to catch up on some of the sleep that I was missing. Yeah, traditionally I've been very opposed to napping. That's always been something I really disliked doing. Yeah, because it always feels like a waste, you know? I'm just gonna lay down for an hour or half an hour or something and do nothing. Why would I want to do that when I could just, you know, go on with the rest of my day? But the thing about it is, when you're tired, you're really, or at least for me, when I'm tired, when I haven't slept well, when I haven't slept enough, but yeah, it's a very bad time for me. It's a very bad time for me. So really, it's not so much a matter of, you know, wasting an hour as much as it is trading in an hour or so for the benefit of not having to spend the rest of my day operating at roughly 50% efficiency. Sometimes less than that. So yeah. So, with all that being said, once again, I did miss out on a few days in the past couple of weeks due to all that, but I don't anticipate that being an issue going forward. I just need to be a little bit more mindful of how I spend my time, especially towards the end of the day. But yes, so, with all that being established, I suppose we might as well get right into the game. There we are, Atelier Yumia. Oh, my controller's acting up a little bit again. I was just about to say, before we got started, I was reflecting on the fact that, yeah, previously, when we were playing controller using games, last time around, last time around, I did go back to, this isn't where I left off stream last time. I went back over here to get a screenshot for the thumbnail of the video. Yes, we do have game audio. I probably should have checked that before we got into this, but yes, we do have game audio. Anyway, where was I? Oh, yes, controller. So yes, so I've been having some issues with my controller, it periodically disconnecting and things like that. And yesterday I was playing some Guilty Gear Strive with a friend of mine, and I didn't have any issues with it. I didn't have any issues with the controller, so I was hoping that they were resolved. But yeah, we did have an issue there, but I think that, from what I've observed, the bulk of the issue just sort of seems to be... Yeah, the bulk of the issue seems to be the actual USB cable that I'm using that's plugged into the PlayStation 4 controller that I'm using. But yeah, it seems to be a little bit loose. It seems to be a little bit loose, especially it seems to be looser than it used to be, which is a little bit worrying. I don't know if that's an issue with the controller or with the USB cable. Hopefully it's an issue with the USB cable because that's easier to replace, but anyway. So yeah, I didn't have any issues last time. I only had a small issue there. Hopefully it won't continue to be a big deal. Yes, so there's a lot around here that we could potentially do. But yeah, again, we need to get to 10% in the pioneering effort before we get the next objective, I do believe. Yeah, depending on how these are presented, I'd sort of been assuming that the next objective that we would be given would be to go to a different area entirely. But I'm looking over there. It does say Pioneering Effort, Ligneous Region, Part 1. So it could be that we are expected to remain in this area for a while. But yes, anyway. Discover a campsite is what I want to do next, primarily. But yeah. So, as I was saying, I'm currently planning on remaining here for a little while. Remaining here for a little while at least. Yeah, I don't know precisely what we'll do, but we're still sort of feeling this out. Anyway, once again, the main thing that I'm interested in right now is discovering a campsite, because I'm not sure... Yeah, I'm not really sure what to make of that. Yeah, I sort of have an intuitive, I can guess what it would be. I would assume it would be somewhere that we can rest and, get health back and such. But it's hard to say for certain. Yeah, it's not a base, presumably, because we've already seen a base. And, a base is referred to with different terminology. So, with the need to find a campsite, we need to determine where we would find a campsite. So, there's a lot of areas around here. I would assume that if a campsite would be anywhere... Seems like... Yeah, the question marks do pop in and out a little bit as we zoom out. I don't know if that implies a degree of hierarchy, some being more important than others or something like that. But yeah, anyway. So I would assume, and I have no basis to assume this, honestly, but I would assume that a campsite would probably be relatively far away from another established area, so to speak. Oh, interesting. Seems that there is something involving Victor in this specific area. That seems like something we would want to look into. Yeah, it does also seem that specific quests are marked on our map. Maybe not all of them, because I don't think I've seen those before. It might be that we just need to get close to them before they'll get marked. So that's something to keep in mind. Anyway, so as I was saying, so I imagine a campsite would probably be relatively far away from bases and from, the Atelier and things like that. Relatively far away from existing sort of rest areas. But, again, it is hard to say. I feel like... Somewhere like this could be good, because this does seem to be a... Oh, is this part of the... Oh, this is part of the Ligneous region as well. Interesting. Okay. Oh. Okay. Yeah, I'd assume that each of these segments of the map here was an entirely different region. But no, this does seem to be all the Ligneous region here. Whereas as we get here, that's a different region. Let's see. Well, we could zoom out further than that, but it seems like not. Okay, okay. But yeah, so it looks like we have about 4 regions or so. At least 4 regions that we can see. Yeah, given the fact that this region is evidently a lot larger than it looked like initially, that does potentially change the logic I'd be using to search out a campsite. Yeah, given what we know already, let's see, this is pedestal with the potential to clear a mana-bound area. So these are mana-bound areas. I assume that because this one has a larger and more distinct, more elaborate icon, I assume that's probably more of an important area. We can see the landmarks. Are those? No. Are those? Okay, yeah, those are the fast travel points. Yeah, so those are also marked on the map without having to go to them. That's neat. Yeah, because we've definitely not been this far before. Yeah, we definitely wouldn't have seen many, if any, of these. But yeah, I would assume that there's probably more than one camping spot in the area. That's a fairly safe assumption, I think. Beyond that, well, actually, now that I think about it, since we do get the ability to make a camping set as part of our rewards for continuing the pioneering effort, it feels reasonable to assume that we're probably going to get that explained to us in at least some more detail once we've actually gotten that. So maybe I shouldn't be getting too ahead of myself. Yeah, I think we're just going to work on getting that 10%, up to that 10%, and then we're going to... The touchscreen on my controller is acting a little bit oddly. Usually if I press on the left side of it, it registers that as a button input, but it's not doing so now. Alright. It's been a little while since we've been at the Atelier. Yes. So, I don't feel a tremendous need to make a woodland remedy, considering that we already have one, but I suppose it wouldn't necessarily hurt to have more than one. Yes, so we'll add some pawns. I don't know if either of these would necessarily be of any great value to us, because we can't get mana through the initial core, I don't think. Oh, hold on. Oh, did I add? Oh, I thought I was swapping out. Or no. Okay, so yeah, so neither of these seem to be impacting it, so I think we should use the one with the smaller resonance area. Because we'd want the larger resonance area to, resonate with more mana, as we can here. And I think we should have sufficient mana to be able to... We should have sufficient mana to be able to capture all of these. Oops. I want to sort these by resonance area. That's quite a bit of resonance. But yes, I don't think we need that much. Yeah, I don't think we need that much. Yeah, so these are... I don't know if the Prosperous Spellbook is something that we can make, but I know that cloth would be an item that you make. Normally that's something you can make, I do believe. You can like synthesize cloth and such, or synthesize fibers and whatnot into cloth. So I would assume that this is sort of a refined item, which is why it has such a wide resonance area. Whereas I don't believe necessarily that these would be things that we can make. They're probably more so things that we can, that are just valuable. Yeah, so I don't know if... I guess this is a wind item. So the air, or an air item, so the air resonance might be relevant. One way or the other, that is all of the mana. I wonder if... would any of these otherwise be useful? Oh yes, this moss-clad here, this fish. I've been doing a little bit of exploring off-screen, picking up items from chests, things like that. And I do kind of regret not streaming when I picked this up, because I did find this fish in a treasure chest, and I was very surprised at that. That was a very amusing moment. But yes. Given that we don't need to resonate, I suppose we might as well just use something that's high quality. But yes, we can synthesize more, or we can synthesize already, but I want to do a little bit more. Alright, so this is a fire slot. Okay. So do we just need any fire item? If we use the Fells and Souls, we can get all of the mana all at once, it looks like. Which could be nice. But I don't know if... yeah, there's no requirements for that. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's necessarily what we want to do. Because Fells and Souls is fairly valuable. Or at least we haven't seen a lot of it, so I'm assuming it's rare. But we can't get a lot of this otherwise. Actually, let's take some time. I think that we could probably, yeah, we can make cloth. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Anyway, I'm not going to do that though. I think I'm going to make a neutralizer. Yeah, I don't know if this is actually going to be super relevant to what we're doing, but as I was saying, you can make items into items that are used for crafting, basically. It's not just you make an item and then the item is a usable item. Yes, it does become a usable item, of course, but usable items can also be used for crafting. So yes, so with this, we can make a neutralizer, which will have a certain amount of, it is sort of fire aligned, basically. So it's good for fire recipes. But yeah, I've never been that deep into the crafting system in any of the Atelier games, so I can't tell you with any great detail any of the, let's see. Neutralizer. Okay. Fire bonus. I don't know what these mean. They're just bonuses, I suppose, so I assume that makes it more effective as a fire ingredient, or more effective when making fire-type recipes, so to speak. Uncertain. The resonance uses up thing implies something, but I don't know precisely what any of these would be. Yeah, again, I'm tempted to use the Fells and Souls, but I don't think we need it. Increase resonance area. Yeah, we can't get anything with it unless we have some degree of increased resonance, I think. I think we'll just have to live with that. Alright. So, we can gather quite a bit of mana, I do believe. Would we be able to gather all of it, though? Not without the Fells and Souls, I don't think. And again, we don't necessarily need all of the mana. We don't need to optimize that hard. And, okay, we can get one more mana. We can't get 2 more mana again unless we use Fells and Souls. Um, yeah, I don't think that one additional mana is going to give us any actual benefit. Yeah, it doesn't seem like so. But, whoops. But, we're pretty early in the game, so we're not going to be making tremendously impressive things at any rate. But yeah, as much as I would like to watch this every time, I think in the interest of time, we're not going to necessarily do it every time. Maybe more so just when we have a particularly interesting recipe. Yeah, so again, we can make these with other items. I'm seeing that they've also got a little icon there. Like it's a neutralizer, and then there's something... some sort of fire icon, a flower icon, a metal icon, and a wind icon, or something like that. I'm not sure what that would imply. Actually, no, because this, yeah, ingot here, yeah, those would imply metal. I suppose these indicate what type of item it is. So maybe the red neutralizer is considered flammable or something of that sort. And the blue neutralizer is considered a flower, perhaps? It wouldn't just be because of what goes into them, because they are all made from flowers. Interesting. Anyway, we've gotten what we came here for, so let's make the woodland remedy that we were planning on. Alright, so I think that... yeah, we'll... whoop. Oh, I think we need to actually have the effect first. That makes sense. So yes, a tall pond. Oh, also I forgot to remove the filter. I didn't think that would still be in place from one recipe to the other. You probably could have gotten a wider variety of options in the neutralizer synthesis earlier then, if I had known that we still had that active. Oh well. Anyway, so yeah, again, this doesn't require anything in particular or suggest anything in particular. I think we just want a good amount of resonance area. And so yeah, with all this, we can definitely get all of the mana, I do believe. Yeah, this is... I'm trying to think, what type of item is this? I guess maybe it doesn't matter per se. Because yeah, I don't think that any of these are necessarily going to demand, or I don't think it is demanding any particular type of item. Alright. East resonance area. So there are definitely ones that have... oh, okay, so it's an air item. Let's see, is this... okay, so I'm not seeing any ingredients get highlighted, so I'm assuming... hold on. No, I was going to say, not seeing any that are getting highlighted. I was thinking that the crystal shards might be at first, but no, it looks like they just have a faint glow around them as part of their sprite. Anyway. Yeah, so some of these definitely have more resonance than others. Higher resonance is, I assume, good. That feels like a safe assumption. I think we'll go with this. Yes, so good effect. And now trait. Give it some water. Give it some fire. So, let's see. Okay, so yeah, the neutralizers we made are definitely a good investment, because with those we can get all of the mana. Alright, very good, very good. And so we need 2 resonance in order to get a trait crystal slot. So previously we've tried to use the trait crystals, but we've never had the opportunity to. So I think we just never had we never actually had a trait crystal slot. I'd assumed that it would be there by default, and it simply wasn't. I didn't see it anywhere, so I just kind of brushed it off, I suppose. But with this, Okay, yeah, now I'm definitely seeing a... Yeah, seeing a slot where I didn't see one earlier. So do we need to start synthesis before we can actually use it? Unclear. I'm not seeing any way to interact with it, so I think we just need to start the synthesis. Perhaps. I don't know. One thing that I did see is that there is actually a manual for this game, which is quite a rarity these days. I did see that there was a manual, which I was tempted to read through it, given my preference to read manuals on stream, but I decided to hold off because it did seem like there was some stuff that maybe was a spoiler, or hinted at least future elements of the game. Yeah, so I'm going to now consult the manual. I suppose I could look up a guide, but I don't know. Again, I like manuals. I like that they have a manual. I like that a whole lot, and I don't know, I guess reading the manual isn't necessarily supporting the making of further manuals, but even if it's a symbolic gesture, I do appreciate it. Anyway, so, alright, I've gone to the website and I'm not getting the manual. So, they've got a manual, but it's an online manual, and the page is in Japanese, it seems like, right now. Okay. Okay, it looks like the website is down for maintenance. So, with that, I guess we're not reading the manual right now. Because yeah, the game has definitely told us about trait crystals before, and I'm very confident that we have one. But we're not... There doesn't seem to be any way to use it. Oops. My controller's acting up again. At least there's no obvious way to use it. Well, if we can use it, we can use it, and if we can't, we can't, I suppose. Let's see, because none of these... Yeah, there's no option here to do so. We can favorite or unfavorite things. Let's see. It wouldn't be... Would it be in the container or anything like that? I wouldn't think so. What have I done? Oh. Okay, here we are. Oops. Okay, we've set a trait crystal. Okay. So yeah, so the trait crystals... the trait crystals are entirely separate from the synthesis system. Except insofar as doing a better synthesis allows you to apply a trait crystal. Okay, so with this, we've got two items we can use. We have two trait crystals. We have critical, and we have item use count. So yeah, so I would assume that critical does still apply. Yeah, it does still apply even on... Because, yeah, usually when I think critical, I think a critical hit, and thus extra damage. Whereas this is not a damaging item. But I suppose it's not unreasonable to expect that there could be the possibility... Oh, hold on a second. Alright, hold on, I have to step away for a little bit. Alright, I returned. Anyway, yes. It's not unreasonable to suspect that there could be the possibility of being able to get a critical heal of some sort. But item use count is definitely going to work, so let's just use that, basically. Alright, so we've established how the trait crystal system works, and so we are able to use it as such. Let's see. We have a simple altar. Still wonder what we can do with that. Alright, we need to go talk to Earhart to continue, but again, I want to see if I can place this altar down. Hmm. Oh, it can be... Oh, okay. I didn't see that there was a description on it before. Yeah, so given that it says that it can be used to perform synthesis... Okay, we can't walk outside of this area. Oh, also, I noticed this before. Alright, very nice. We've discovered more of our very own atelier. Interesting, interesting. So this is certainly something as well. It's something, but it's not something that we can interact with by shooting, unfortunately. One of those rare things in life. Alright. Interesting. Alright, now I'm really curious about this place. I know I said I was going to look into the pioneering effort, but I guess we did accomplish a goal on that, so... Oh. Okay, for a second there I thought that something was amiss. That some sort of magical effect had occurred, but no, it seems that that's just a bit of rendering oddness. Okay, now I'm very interested. Alright. We do have a door here. Much like the other one that was locked before. Feels like this seems like the sort of thing that we could perhaps interact with. Can't hit anything over here. Jumping up on the furniture doesn't seem to accomplish anything. Or rather, it doesn't give us a better vantage point by which to see anything. That... Hard to say what this would be, but I don't think it's a switch. Interesting. Alright, now I'm definitely very curious about this place. Well, our little atelier has gotten a little bit more interesting. We'll refill our energy. Alright. I suppose actually, since we've gotten a... Yeah. Do we need to... Okay, I think we have to go back to Erhard for our reward. Oh, alright. I definitely didn't... Yeah, previously when my controller would disconnect, I've noticed it like it was clearly bumping against something, but it definitely didn't that time. Yeah, I wonder if we can set... Yeah, it definitely doesn't seem like we can create the simple altar here either. Yeah, again, it might just be something to do with the fact that we're already at the atelier, and thus having another altar would be redundant. Yes, having another altar would be redundant. But I want to put it down regardless. I suppose actually we do have a base elsewhere. But I suppose if we go over there, we'll have a better idea of whether we can just put them wherever we feel so inclined, or whether they have to be in specific spots. Alright, so, with that said, building. Okay, oh, okay, so this requires quite a hefty bit of space. So that would probably explain why it couldn't go in those areas before, because they simply weren't large enough. So yeah, this fully cannot go within the confines of this build. Oh. Okay, maybe not. I was going to say fully cannot go within the confines of this building, but it seems that that is actually incorrect. Can I move this? Because I don't want this here, actually. Okay. so... It can go inside the building, it looks like. I don't think I want to put it inside the building because it'd be a tremendous eyesore and it would clip with the furniture. But we can put it in here. I think I'll keep it outside, though. Put it a little bit off to the side because I feel like it also look a little bit weird just being essentially the entrance to the building. Alright, so with this, yeah, we can do synthesis as normal, it seems like. I had thought that maybe since it said it was a simple altar, there might be some restriction on what you could do with it, but there's not an obvious one. At least there's not one that the game saw fit to tell me about. Alright, so having done all that, let's actually head back to the base and actually get our next objective and or whatever rewards we may be receiving. Alright, Erhard. You're not Erhard. Where are you? There you are. Exactly where we left him. Now then, let's see your report. Alright, camping set recipe. Alright, not a whole lot else, it looks like. Looks like there's been some progress towards our pioneering goals. Nice work. Good job out there. Are you getting used to being in the research team? I don't know why I suddenly started reading out his dialogue. I guess because I was doing so before. I normally don't read out the voice dialogue. There's a certain part of me that almost feels like perhaps I should, but I don't know. It just feels a little bit weird to not, I guess, to a certain extent. Ah, we're meeting someone. Interesting. Could this be that mysterious someone that we saw earlier? Alright, she does have a name, so she's evidently someone of interest. Talking to the Albert. The Albert. Yeah, that would... The Albert. I wonder what that would be. Because presumably it's not a person, necessarily. The Albert doesn't sound like a name. It could be a title, I suppose, but... Anyway, use a camping set to set up camp in certain areas. Camping allows you to rest, cook, and chat with your party. Rest until a specific time of day. Resting will restore HP. Okay, so that's as expected. Cook. Use cooking ingredients to cook dishes. Different dishes will grant different effects. And chat with your party. Start a conversation with your teammates. So I wonder if now that we have a... I suppose maybe I shouldn't be dismissing too much their wonderment over who this Wilma person is. But... camping set. Okay. Oh. The fact that it has its own icon there almost seems to imply... Oh. Yeah, almost seems to imply to me that you could probably do it, maybe not everywhere, but that there's fewer restrictions on it than I would think. Because I had assumed that a camping spot would be just a specific spot in the world. Probably there'd be more than one, but that there would be specific spots in the world that are camping spots and specific spots that are not. Or rather, the rest of them would not be. Yeah, this does require... Well, it requires a variety of different ingredients, but it doesn't require any ingredient in large quantities. Anyway, since we're going to be... Yeah. Okay, so we can stack 2 of them, the rest of them went into the bag. Okay, anyway. Since we'll now have the opportunity to cook, we might as well make some cooking supplies. Ah, okay. I've been running low on bullets before because I thought they only stacked up to 20, and I didn't want to go over the stack. But yeah, knowing things that automatically go to the bag, I guess it's not as big of a deal. I did also see that we can just pull things out of the bag, or rather, this there's like a hold on.
どこでも作れるし。
I remember there being sort of a secondary bag, I think. It might be in a different menu somewhere. Bag does look pretty bulky. Those things did definitely get put away somewhere. Basket. I know that I moved things around before. Right, no. Okay. Okay, so they are in the basket, it seems like. Anyway. Oh. Alright, it seems that Isla and Victor are having a bit of an argument. And it seems that Victor is not so pleased with whatever Isla is doing. That would be most unfortunate. Very unfortunate that as well. Can't skip diary entries or journal entries. Well, I wasn't aware that I had to keep journal entries, so... Alright, let's see what, It seems that Yumia has been keeping journal entries, but they've not been particularly... thorough, per se. A fun interaction so far. What do you write about, Victor? Alright, he's quite a prolific writer, it seems like. Well, maybe you would remember if you wrote it down more promptly. Victor has the same sentiment, it would seem. Well, evidently at least one person on the team is anywhere near that organized. Where did I place my water bottle? Oh dear. Ah, there it is. Tip. Alright. Yeah, so it looks like I was expecting a, quest, but it seems that was more of a skit, so to speak. Yeah, so we've got quite a bit set up here. Village that lives with spirits. That would imply that the Alber are maybe not... Maybe are spirits of some sort. Yeah, almost certainly not people per se. At the very least, not people in the sense of being human. Which is a very narrow view, I suppose. I shouldn't say that you're not a person just because you're not human. I shouldn't even imply it. Anyway. Yeah, the zipline's fun. Never used them before. Yeah, never used them before in the game, I should say. Let's see, is there any particular way that we should be going to get there?
目的地を選んでください。
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it seems to be up. So we should probably go up. Is this? That zipline is not illuminated on the map the way the other ones are. Maybe because we haven't gotten sufficiently close to where it goes. But
お腹減った。
we do.
ちょ
Oh,
っと
hold
休
on,
んでかない
campsite. Ah, okay. Well, since we just unlocked the ability to make a camp, let's pick some locks. Alright, so we want to... How do we want to do this? Yeah, I've never quite understood how this works. It seems that we want to try to align the inner and outer rings, I think. I was thinking that there had to be, well, yeah, I don't know. I wasn't quite sure what to make of it, honestly.
よし
I just kind of
これ
rotated
で
it
しばらくは安心
more or
だな
less at random. But it does seem that there is a specific way to do it. So how do we...
快
Do
適
we...
な感じにしたいな。
Alright, so this is a building area here. And this is a campsite. And we have a camping set.
何持ってたかな。
Cannot be used here.
どうしよう。
Odd,
休ん
considering that
で
we,
こうかな。
you know, have a campsite here. Okay, so... Camping set. Do we need to do something to unlock the ability to use it, perhaps?
この辺り何かありそう。ちょっと見てみよう。
We are definitively pretty close to this area here. And we can
快
build
適な
here.
感じにしたいな。
I don't know if this necessarily has any relevance to what we're doing, but we might as well put it down.
何にしよう。
Alright, so this doesn't do anything either. Oh, okay, so we now have access to proper building parts. Interesting. You can get quite in depth with this, can't you? I like the idea of alchemically synthesizing a picture. Oh, add. Break time. Alright, now that I look at it a little bit closer, it says ads... Oh, okay. I was going to say now that I look at it closer, it says ads starting soon, rather than that there's an ad going on. But before I even finish the sentence, it now says that there's an ad going on. So break time again. Alright, I have returned. Anyway. Yes. So you can really get quite granular. I wonder if you can make different pictures, or if it's all
どう
just...
しよう。
if this is the only picture that Yumia knows how to paint. And I like that the lamps have, you can see their luminance a little bit, even in the crafting preview here. Alright. I can't justify, oh, this is an interesting bit of decoration. Anyway, I can't justify doing this for too long. But I think that having containers spread about the map is probably going to be a good idea.
置けそうな数は。
You might just want to make quite a few of these, just to have them,
そんな感じか
so
な
we。can place them conveniently as we see fit. Energy generators are probably going to be good also, but we don't necessarily need those quite as often. Plus, saltpeter, it seems, is a more rare resource compared to some of these others. Anyway, so, building,
模様
let's
替え
put
し
down
よ
a
う。
container so we can drop off our supplies. So we've done a little bit of building here. We can't do any camping, it still seems. Do we need to be further away, I wonder? That doesn't make a lot of intuitive sense. I don't know, because this fire here definitely seems like something that we would impact,
疲労は調査の大敵だぞ。
something that would allow us to interact with the camping system in some way.
眠
Hmm.
い帰ってベッドで寝たいよ。
Hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure about this. But I am sure that I can shoot that.
隕石って意外と見つかりにくいから貴重品なんだ。これでよし。
Yeah, I thought that maybe... Thought that maybe building something here might interact with the campsite in some way. Do we need to be in a slightly different area, perhaps? This doesn't seem like a place that you'd want to camp.
しょ、これこれ。
Yeah, I'm not sure. We have discovered a campsite, and we have a camping set.
何持ってたかな。
Yeah, it doesn't seem like something we can use through the inventory, but that is not unreasonable. The characters are definitely interacting or responding to this area. I don't know. We might just need to put this on the back burner for right now.
どれにし、荷物持ちすぎかな。ポーチの形が変わっちゃうかも。
I'm curious, though.
どこ行くの？
Campsite. Installing some basic equipment. I don't know. That does seem to imply that some degree of building would be valuable. Alright. You know what? We're just going to look this up. I was wanting to consult the manual, but there's no manual to consult as of this time. So let's just look it up. Atelier Yumia camping. I'm not going to let this pursuit consume me. I simply need to know. Alright. So, you'll need to create 2 sets of items, a camping set and some cooking ingredients. We have both of those. Yes, create these and ensure they're in your exploration bag. You can double check via the menu wheel if needed. To start camping, use the menu wheel and highlight the camping set. It may be grayed out if this is not an appropriate area. Well, I don't know what more appropriate area there would be. Yeah, I assume that, with all the other things that are applicable, if we can use them and we have it highlighted, the icon will be a solid black. Whereas the camping set, it's a grayed out. Alright. Camping site. Okay, you can generally camp anywhere that there is a wide enough, flat, and open space. Even having monsters nearby does not necessarily stop this. Okay, so presumably there isn't a lot of restriction to where and when we can camp. I wonder if... What if we... Okay, we have a camping set. We have cooking ingredients. We have both of those stacked as high as they can be. So it's not as though there's any issue of not having enough. Certainly. No. This is very strange. Because we've definitely unlocked the ability to use it. Let's see. Nope, that's not it. Hold on. I accidentally opened up the manual. Guide. Because yeah, this tells us about some things. Camping site. Whoops. Hold on. Okay, camp. Use a camping set. Huh. Do we need to use it from the bag? Well, no, because it did say from the wheel, didn't it? Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, it does seem that you can just do it. Alright. I'm spending entirely too much time on this. We might just need to... Yeah, I might just need to do this later. Alright, this is the flattest, most open ground within eyesight. Ah! Okay. We have a camp now. Very nice. Alright, that was abrupt. Anyway. Weird that the place that specifically is marked as a camping site doesn't allow us to camp, but oh well. Hi, Isla. I wonder what would suit her. Can I help you, Isla? Is there something in my hair? Oh, that's it. Braids on each side set into wavy curls at the end. Wavy curls? Is that some kind of spell? Wait, no. Maybe a more mature look with a neat bun would do better. Hello? Isla? This is hopeless. Alright. And your thoughts, Victor? Have you written up today's research journal entry yet? If you let them pile up, it'll only become more troublesome. Yeah, this is pretty neat. Yeah, I like that we can go... Oh, no. We can walk around quite a bit. The camera angle being set is a little bit strange. Just sort of has a weird feeling to it. But yeah. Yeah, it doesn't feel quite as fluid as the rest of the game, I suppose I would say. Alright, so it looks like... Yeah, we don't necessarily need anything specific for any of these. Bomb curry is a very interesting name for a dish. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so we can just have these various effects active. I don't know if I necessarily want to use any of these right now, because I'm not planning on doing a lot of fighting in the near future. I don't know if having 3 minutes of shortened attack cooldowns would be good, but yeah, I guess there's not much reason to do anything here. But I suppose if we do happen to get into a fight, we'll have this. I feel like it's a little bit of a waste to go to all this trouble and then not do anything. Anyway, so we have done that. I don't know if we can have multiple of these active. No, we definitely don't need to rest because we haven't been in any fights. But I suppose then we just leave camp. Alright. Now, as we were saying, let's get on with things. And if we get into a fight, we get into a fight. Yeah, I guess I'll just have to keep an eye out for that. If I want to camp, then we can look for a place to camp. But we don't necessarily need to... Yeah, don't necessarily need to... What's the word I'm looking for? I'm not quite sure. Yeah, if we want to camp, we can look for a place to set up camp. But we don't necessarily... I don't know. I'm not quite sure what I'm trying to say here. Yeah, it doesn't have to be a big deal, basically. I'd been assuming that a campsite was permanent, or at least semi-permanent. That'd be something that you would unlock. That's quite a creature over there. Alright, hello, Wilma. I was kind of expecting her to be one of the characters that we'd seen in the prologue or something of that sort.
はい。今私は精霊と共に暮らす村について調べています。精霊？精霊。この概念を理解するには、まずは信仰文化について説明する必要がありますね。
Yes.
皆さんは
Oh,
北条新信仰についてご存知ですか？
I must say I don't know about the harvest
北条
deity.
新信仰。名前くらいはという感じです。北条新信仰は元はアラディスに住んでいた少数の民の間に伝わっていた文化でした。
Alright, it seems that they were big Story of Seasons fans.
形態は様々ですが、講義では大地に宿るマナとその恩恵を崇めることを指します。
This is a nice view too. This game is very scenic, I must say.
そのうちの一つ。
Very scenic.
北条神の化身を指す言葉で
There's a lot of opportunity for me to take
そして
photos.
その化身と共に暮らし、加護を受け、繁栄した村があるというのです。
So we're looking for a village that lives together with them, which is interesting because I would have assumed that there was essentially nobody living in this
興味深いで
region.
しょ？
I am wondering when we're going to address this being beside Wilma here.
私の一族はアラディス帝国の末裔にあたります。実家に北条新信仰文化がわずかに伝わっていたのです。 なるほど。それで詳しく調べてるんですね。ええ。ともかく文化人類学者である私の仕事は、こうしたアラディスの文化を解き明かすこと。
Cultural anthropology is a topic that I'm
性質上、
quite
マ
interested
ナや
in.
錬金術とも
I
深く
I
関
took
わ
a
る
class
の
on
で、
it in college,
よろしければご協
and
力い
I
ただけ
definitely
たら
wish that I had the opportunity to do more.
なる
I
ほ
suppose
ど。
I could always
そうい
look
う
more
こと
into
でし
it,
たら、
in my off time, I
手始め
suppose.
に現地のアルバーたちに聞いてみたんですが、
Okay,
ま
so
だ
this is
具体
indeed
的
an
な手がか
Alber.
りにはたどり着けていない状態です。
So yeah, so Alber, it does seem are something of a known quantity. Help investigate. Let's be proactive.
それでは私たちも
We
協力して
seem
調
to
査に
more
当
or
たりま
less
しょ
know
う。
what we're doing anyway.
錬金術の力があれば、きっと手がかりをつかめるよね。
Isla is very,
そうだね。
very
では私たちは
invested in
この周
alchemy.
辺の調査から始めてみましょうか。
Very surprising for basically anyone living in
あ
this
りがとう
world.
ございます。では私は引き続き伝承の聞き取りを続けますね。
Where indeed should we investigate first? I
そうだ
still have to admit, I'm very curious about the Alber
やっ
and
ぱ
what
り
that
足で稼ぐしかない
being
かな。
is.
緑豊かな場所だけあって大変そう。そういえばこの辺りって入り口
There's
が
plenty
壊
of
れ
ruins
て
with
入れない
broken
廃墟が
entrances.
いくつかあったっけ？そこを調べてみるっていうのはどうですか？
I assume that those are the ruins in question. That's quite the building over there. Alright,
もしかしたら
the
中に何か残ってる
more
かも
I
しれ
see
ま
of
せん。
this landscape, the more I want to see more of it.
飲みやすさを考えて作る
Okay,
工程
okay.
が一番難しいっていう。
So,
見つけた。
I'd been assuming initially from the way it was described that the village that lives with spirits would be a current, like, human settlement.
まだま
I
だ。
wasn't. Yeah. With what we've now established, feels like
大
maybe
事に使おう。
maybe not, or maybe it's an alder or an alber settlement or something of the sort, or maybe it's just not a extant settlement anymore. Anyhow,
すごいマナの
Alright,
子
we're mana bound now.
気をつけて進もう。
Oh, this is a creature. Might as well use the. Yeah, might as well make use of our reduced cooldowns, which are quite powerful. It seems like it's quite the buff. Yeah, we'll definitely want to keep that buff up if we can. much does it take to... What does it take to make cooking ingredients? Not a whole lot. Just fruit, basically. Alright. So fruit. This requires a small amount of a lot of things. Yeah, this is basically just fruit. Or it's entirely just fruit. So that... Yeah, we will need to make sure that we're getting fruit then. Yes, we're in a mana-bound area once again. Yeah, it does seem like... I'd been almost assuming that from how we cleared the area around the lighthouse. We might as well get into another fight. Why not? Might as well. Alright. Alright, Wild Rose. I don't remember... I don't remember what the different effects of all these are now. Alright, so we've got a status effect on us. Alright, let's move in. We do seem to have a little bit more damage on our melee attack with Isla. I suppose that's probably true in broad terms, but... Alright, now that we have everyone on a single target, it should go down pretty quickly there. I don't know if we can choose specific targets to hit. I've never tried to, now that I think about it. Alright, everyone has leveled up. I'm not necessarily looking for fights, but if we happen across a creature that seems particularly close at hand, we might as well. We do have a creature there that we could fight, but we do want to get up to this ruin. There's so many things that I want to see. Like I want to look into this building. What is it? It looks like some sort of... Looking at it, I assumed something along the lines of a greenhouse, maybe. But I think I'm just saying that because there's a lot of plant life inside of it. I'm sure we'll get the opportunity to look at it in more detail later. Alright, so Bomb Curry is now over. Yes, so. I'm very curious. This is a treasure trove. Alright, we can open this. Alright, and open we go. Well, our previous treasures weren't degraded, so I'm assuming that these probably aren't as well. Got a Luft, actually. Play-jig. Halberd wrapped in lightning. It can shoot lightning at not only those it touches, but also distant targets as well. Yeah, so we got a few usable items. Speaking of which, we never did equip the new woodland remedy, did we? No. Hold on. Do we? Wait. Do we not have it? I guess maybe we don't? I don't know why we wouldn't have it. Interesting. Let's see. Yeah, it wouldn't be under skills or items. Yeah, now that we have quite a few of these, I suppose we could equip multiple onto a person. Ah, okay. Yeah, I was assuming that this was a weapon. Oh, these are quite better than the ones we've made, actually. Anyway, let's, I guess since we have these, put the ley rune on Yumia. Whoops. Ley rune on Yumia. Luft on... Yeah, Luft on... I guess it doesn't matter, but... I don't know, it feels appropriate to keep them with the things that they had. I think we'll give her another different item, though. I guess we don't have a different item. We've got quite a few loots. Anyway, Play jig. Yeah, again, I'm not at a point where I necessarily have the knowledge or equipment necessary to really make use of whatever benefits we might have from all our different options here. But having multiple items on everybody, I think, is going to be good, if for no other reason than because it will give us more things to use before we run out of cooldowns. Anyway. So yeah, again, we can't seem to equip the new woodland remedy that we made. Well, it is what it is. Yeah, unless we... No, we wouldn't have already equipped it. I feel like I would remember it if I had. I've been wrong before, but... Alright, that's more to investigate over there. This... Oh. I suppose if we get into a fight, it's not the worst thing in the world. I assume that this is the test of strength? Yes. I don't think we want to do that right now. If we were to do that, I think I'd want to get a buff. Not necessarily that I believe that we'll need it necessarily, but I'd like to make good use of the buffs. I suppose that's a good example of how we can sort of plan around things. We can use camping to get health back, or we can use it to prepare for upcoming fights and all that. Because the duration of the buffs is rather short. Yeah, the duration of the buffs is rather short, so it's not as though it's something that we can simply do. I don't know if we necessarily want to collect those crystals all that badly. That's... I don't think we can shoot these to activate them. No, we can actually. Never mind. I should have never doubted Yumia's skill with a gun. Anyway. Pick up a little bit more while we're in the area. We've got a shrine here. I feel like we... I feel like I've gotten completely off track. Alright, we don't have any repair kits. We don't have any way to make them either. Up we go. Alright, I feel like I'm completely off base here. That being said, as long as we are, we might as well look around some more. Yeah, so the food buffs are... That's something we can get a new thing from. But yes, food buffs are fairly short-lived, it looks like. So we do want to... Okay, yeah, I'm completely off base. We could continue to interact with this shrine, but I don't necessarily want to immediately. Yes, we came here for the tower, and I got distracted. So, back to it. Alright, we've got some energy back, so it's not a huge concern. Alright. It looks like we do need to go into the tower to activate the shrine. Or actually, maybe we need to interact with the shrine to open the tower. No, yeah, of course we've activated it. It's very clearly active. So. Yeah, we definitely can't go in on our own. Alright, so yes, it looks like maybe the shrine does have something to do with this. I was going to say that we would need to find a repair kit, but we can just... Ooh. Yes, we can jump. Yeah, we want to make sure that we're collecting berries whenever we can. Because we want that fruit. Yes, we want the fruit so that we can cook. This is... Oh, this is a treasure chest. Can we... Nice, nice. Very good, very good. Yumia can do very many things with a gun. Alright. So, we have circumvented the need for a ladder. We might want to get one at some point anyway, but not for right now. A lovely little spot here, too. Yeah, I do like what we've seen so far of the open world of this game. It's not as big as some open worlds in some games, but I like that they put in a good effort, I think, at least just from what we've seen, make the areas fairly distinct and to make a lot of the areas very pretty. Alright, so yes, so we want to align the inner and outer rings. There we go. So yes, we want to align them as much as we can, and we don't necessarily worry so much about everything else. Alright. Spun thread. Spider silk spun together to be as thick as regular thread. The silk used to spin the thread was already tough and hard to cut, so this thread is practically impossible to cut. Oh. Alright, controller has started acting up again. Alright. So, this is... We need to... I don't think... I was going to say I don't think we shoot these, but I guess I don't remember. Alright, at least this one we don't shoot. Alright, oh, we are actually, yeah, we are fairly low on energy, aren't we? We should probably do something about that. Alright, so, let's not be too foolish here. Let's see, this is a fast travel point, which will cost some mana to unlock, I think. Or no. Oh no, it gives mana, right. I knew it interacted with energy in some capacity, but I didn't remember the capacity. Anyway. So we're still being... Oh no, I was going to say we're still being led on, but no, we're going backwards. I wonder if the shrine actually does have any bearing on opening that door. Let's see, do we have... I don't think there's any... Oh no, that's the chest we already opened. Let's see. So this is a puzzle. This is something else. I don't see any way to activate it immediately, obvious. Ah. Okay, so that's dealt with. I do kind of want to open this as long as we're in the area. Alright, pick this up. It would be nice if the picking up was a little bit faster. I feel like they don't necessarily need to give you that long to confirm. Alright. That will open this chest up here. I wouldn't think that it would have anything to do with the other chest, but I suppose we'll see. Treasure trove key, nice. Alright, yeah, that's... Ah. Lucian's never too far away, it seems like. Alright, nomadic clothing. Oh, we already have that. Though, given... Yeah, it could be better, I was going to say. Oh yeah, these actually... Or no. Okay, I was going to say, these definitely have different abilities on them, but yeah, Victor had, yeah, a different piece of armor entirely. I wonder what our stat spread is like. Alright, yeah, it seems that Victor has generally pretty good stats overall. I suppose part of that comes from the fact that he does have equipment that boosts his stats more so than everyone else, I think. Yeah, these are just defense buffs. This is a defense and attack buff. Yeah, whoops. Didn't need to drop out of the menu entirely. That being said, it does seem that Victor has pretty high stats overall inherently. I guess it's not that pronounced. He definitely has a lot higher defense. I almost wonder... Yeah, Yumia has high speed. Isla has high attack, or at least relatively high attack. And Victor has really high defense. I wonder if we should give him the extra HP. Give her the extra attack. And we'll leave Yumia as is, I think. Alright, anyway. So, we probably should be careful here, because we are running pretty low on energy. We're not desperately low by any means. Oh, hi. After a long day's work, I sleep so snug, and then I'm wide awake in the morning. Alright. Thanks for the information. I'm not entirely familiar with the nature of your being, but I'm glad that you decided to talk with us. Okay, so that test of strength wasn't there before, but there was also a test of strength near the fallen tower that isn't there now, or that wasn't there last time I went around. I guess tests of strength come and go. I probably shouldn't be messing around too much. We have already established that we're pretty low on energy. Alright, so we'll get some particles while we're here. And we'll get into a fight while we're here also. Alright, Alright. Alright, back up. Can I back up? Seems I can't back up for whatever reason. I guess maybe it's because of the tight quarters here, but that seems a little bit weird. Can we... Let's see. Yeah, Victor's a little bit low on health anyway, so I think we'd want to do this regardless. Anyway. Let's see, I was looking for if there was a way to replenish our mana around here. That's... okay. That's one of these done. But now I'm seeing... Yeah, I was thinking that the orange in the line there was maybe because the thing simply wasn't fully open. But it does seem to be distinctly going this way. Alright, we're definitely playing it somewhat dangerously here. Feels like the mana bound effect is also taking up more and more of the screen. I don't know if I'm just noticing it more, or if there's actually a distinction, but... Is this not fully active or something? No, it seems as active as can be. There's not any others here. Yeah, this is clearly coming out of that switch. Okay, we need to be very careful here. Okay. We need to leave, actually. Unless there is... Is there... No. This is... Nope. I guess we can get the particles while we're here, but... Okay, particles do seem to give us a little bit of mana. But we don't have an abundance of it, certainly. So I should get out of here, actually. Is this... Okay, this isn't functional. Can we make it so, though? Repair kit lumber. Let's see, can we... Yeah, remove that. And then... Oh. I thought I had more kits in my bag. I guess maybe I need to be in a area with access to my whole set of items or something. Can we interact with this? No. I'm going to feel very foolish if there's just a switch somewhere on this building that I failed to notice. Okay. Alright, thank you for the reminder, Flammy, but we're doing okay. At least we are now. Yes. So, we're still not seeing any way to interact with this, though, crucially. Oh, hold on. Is it this simple? It seems so. Alright, so, I don't have a repair kit. We can't, yeah, we can't make those. Yeah. So we do need to figure something out here. Alright, well, I suppose we don't necessarily need to walk all the way back to our nearest camp. Okay. Yes, so, we have transferred things to the basket. Can we now transfer things from the basket? Yes, okay. Okay. So that's what the situation is. Okay. Yeah, I wonder, do we necessarily need that camping set? I suppose we don't need any of them, but do we want it on hand right now? I think we might as well keep it around. Anyway. Yes. So. It does still feel odd. It does still feel odd the way that the... You know, this is a campsite. But it being a campsite doesn't necessarily have any bearing on whether it's applicable for use for camping. Because evidently it is not. Alright, anyway, we are getting pretty close to the end of our time here, though. I would love to do some more exploring, but I think we're going to leave it here. Alright. So, yeah, we've learned some more. We're definitely this is a game where we have a lot to learn. I definitely feel like the camping system wasn't as well described as it perhaps could be. But we did figure it out in the end. Pardon? Yeah, the camping system could have been better explained. But I suppose they never said that you needed to use a camping set at a campsite. I don't know, maybe the terms are more distinct in the Japanese version or something like that. But I don't know. To my mind, if you can make a camping set and you have a campsite, it implies that there is a connection between the two, whereas in this case there was none. But yeah, anyway, I suppose considering that we can build, and it seems build pretty freely at the campsite, we could probably even just set up beds and whatnot. I don't know if you can make a stationary cooking area. It feels like something that you would intuitively be able to do. It seems like cooking is something that could be done in a kitchen or something of that sort, but yeah, I don't suppose we have any strong evidence to suggest that kitchens exist in this world. Anyway, so, with all that, it is time to wrap up. And so, with all that, it is time for a raid target. So, if anyone has any suggestions, I would be delighted to hear them. If not, I can find a target on my own. And so, let's go over the business once again. So yes. So, tomorrow, Wednesday, you should be seeing some more Arknights. Thursday, you should be seeing some more Atelier Yumia. Friday, you should be seeing some more Guilty Year's Drive. And then Saturday, you should be seeing some more Arknights. So yes, all streams except for Thursday and Friday, you can expect to be around 8:30 p.m. Central Time. And then the Thursday and Friday streams, you can expect to be around 9:30 p.m. Central Time. Again, I'm going to try to aim for 9 just to give us a little bit more time on them, but I make no guarantees. So, with that, yeah, that should be basically everything that we need to go over. So, not seeing any raid suggestions. So, who shall we go and see tonight? Let's see. Let's see. Asa is doing some power wash simulator right now, and I feel like we haven't seen her in a little while. Yeah, I did see she put out a tweet saying that she had been ill, so she'd been on something of a break, and this was her first stream back, I believe, from that break. So that seems like a pretty reasonable target, so why not? Alright, so we've got the target set up. We don't have the target set up, we have the target decided on. Okay. Raid Asa Chibi VT. Yes, she's a Sea Cat healer VTuber. We raided into her quite a few times here. But yeah. Yeah, again, playing some Power Wash Simulator. It looks like this is some sort of SpongeBob-themed experience. I don't know if this is the game, I should say. But yeah, I don't know if this is a DLC or a mod or something of the sort, but this is decidedly the Krusty Krab. So, anyway. Raid message, there we go. The customary raid message is, as always, we have arrived. And so, thank you all for being here tonight. I hope that you've had a fine night. I hope that you'll continue to have a fine night every night. And I hope that you will be well until the next time I see you. Thank you all very much, and farewell. Let us get this raid underway.